So Wofford with an impressive drive led by a couple of key pass plays. And Josh Brown, pretty impressive for Mike Ayers' group.
Well, that's right, Mike. Wofford responded very well, came down the field, showed that they weren't going to be intimidated by Carolina, playing in Carolina Stadium. Just zoned out the fans, went out on the field and got the job done.
Gamecocks 7, Terriers 3, and we'll be back with more in just a moment on CSS. Get back to the football basics every Friday night on CSS with live high school football. Pre-game coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern, spotlighting high school football from top schools around the Southeast. Then stay tuned for the live CSS Game of the Week, followed by our post-game show with scores and updates from around the region. Well, the Gamecocks getting an early touchdown. That didn't surprise many, but perhaps the drive that Wofford put together. Very impressive. 15 plays, 68 yards using 7 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock. Terriers settling for a field goal as the Gamecocks get it back. Carlos Thomas running up the middle, make that Emmanuel Cook on the return, and a penalty flag on the play. As you see, the Wofford Terriers scoring drive. Again, this is exactly what Mike Ayers wants to see. He loves to get that ball control, run some time off the clock. 15 plays, 7 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock. He wants to make this a short ball game as we get the official call.
Face mask, 28 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So a 15-yard face mask on Wofford, and that'll give Carolina very good field position.
Yeah, Mike, Wofford coming into this game, they have to play smart. And by doing that, you limit the foolish penalties that you get, the 15-yard face mask, the holding, the blocking in the back. If you eliminate those things, you got a chance.
First down and 10 from the 37-yard line. Mike Ayers knows he's got to play got to have his team play a near flawless game. So far, not so bad. Newton working from the gun. Draw play to Corey Boyd between the tackles. Dives forward for about 3 yards. Corey Boyd looking for a 100-yard rushing game. The Gamecocks haven't had even close to one yet as Ryan Young makes the tackle.
And like I say, right there you see that second effort, guy scrambling around at the end of the play there. That's Corey Boyd just trying to get extra yards after extra yards at the end of the carries, just dragging defenders.
Second down and 6 yards to go. 4 wides this time for Newton. Another draw play between the tackles. Boyd drugged down at the 45-yard line, 2 yards shy of the first down marker.
If you look at this play, Mike, this is the same play that they just ran, but in a different formation. And this is Coach Spurrier just trying to work on the basics, getting the line established up front, get opening holes for Corey Boyd, and having Savell to be able to have the option of either tucking it and run or throw.
First quarter coming to an end with the Gamecocks leading the Terriers 7-3. Second quarter coming your way on CSS. Third down and 2 yards to go. Gamecocks leading the Terriers 7-3 here at Williams-Brice Stadium. Beautiful night for some football here in late September. Two teams hailing from the Palmetto State. Used to meet quite a bit, don't meet much anymore. First time since 2001. Savell Newton, his first start in over a year, and playing well here thus far tonight.
This here is a big play for Carolina to respond to Wofford and their field goal. Big third down and 3 yards here.
Gamecock fans, I think, kind of taking a wait and see about where this team is right now. I think Steve Spurrier has a wait and see attitude. He doesn't know just what this team is made of yet, and we'll find out as the ball game progresses. Third down and 2, throw left side. There's Sidney Rice. Sidney Rice lunges forward past the 50, and that'll be a first down. His second catch of the ball game. Dan Tavani on the stop for the Terriers. Now, Sidney Rice last year breaking all kinds of Gamecock records, many of which were held by one Sterling Sharp. But you look at the numbers this year coming in, 44 yards, no touchdowns. That is shocking to say the least. But now for the season, just 7 catches, 2 for 50 tonight. And they really need to get him more involved, Josh.
They sure do. I mean, you look at the last play, who else do you go to on a third down and 3 where you try to get the first down, but you're All-American, Sidney Rice.
Savell Newton from the gun. Feels some pressure from the left side. Throws it deep downfield and incomplete. Overshoots his intended target. That is Mo Brown again, but another penalty flag on the field.
And that time, Mike, you looked the offensive line. They established the offensive line pretty well and gave a lot of time to Savell Newton to deliver that pass.
And there's the signal by the official, a holding penalty. And Josh, a good job here by Wofford getting some pressure.
Yep, they get in and pressure Newton a little bit, make an early decision. And maybe he shouldn't have thrown to that receiver. You know, you never know when you have limited time back there and the defense is putting so much pressure on you.
So the holding penalty on Corey Boyd, of all people, the running back. And that backs the Gamecocks up all the way to the 40. It'll be first down and 20. 4 wide look this time for Savell Newton and company. Newton, 5-step drop, tosses it to the back. Boyd, but not much there. That'll gain a few yards back. Jared McCullough with the tackle for the Terriers.
Wofford had that play pretty well sniffed out there, Mike. Wasn't much doing on that. It looked like a little delayed kind of screen to Corey Boyd and flat.
Gamecocks kind of methodical to the line of scrimmage. Play clock ticking down. One thing Coach Spurrier has stressed his teams, they've got to do everything a little bit quicker, be a little more efficient out there. Newton gets it, all kinds of time, fires to Rice, and that one goes through the hands of Rice. You will not see that very often. Brian Ford was ready to lay a lick on the All-American wideout. This one will be coming right at you.
Savell Newton taking a drop, reading the defense, delivering a good throw. Like you say, Mike, that's one of the very, very rare things that's going to happen. First of all, to see Savell Newton drop it and then the ball hit the defender in the head without him intercepting the ball.
Safe to say that Sidney might have heard some footsteps on that one. So third down and a cheap cab ride, 18 yards to be exact. Mike Davis in the ball game, as well as Kenny McKinley, as Newton fires over the middle, complete to McKinley at the 34-yard line, and that'll cover enough distance for a first down as Tavani finally stops him dead after a 25-yard hookup from Savell Newton.
If you look, Mike, this is the same play, just flipped. What he did is he ran the same play, four wide receivers streaking down the field, the inside receiver hitting the hash and running a little post, and Savell Newton delivering the ball where it needs to be, and for Carolina first down.
Mike Davis to the left of Newton, the lone back now for Carolina. Newton going to try to run it himself, now looks downfield, and now will hold on to it and will scamper out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Well, Savell Newton now in his senior year, and Josh, a guy that certainly knows how to scramble.
I'm going to tell you what, I have played with this guy all my years here at Carolina, and his footwork is the fastest footwork I ever seen on any other athlete come through here. He has more ability to play any position on this field than anybody else on this team. And who else would you want to be at quarterback than Savell Newton when you got a young offensive line? And I see here right there.
2nd and 8, sprint draw. Newton at the 25, dances outside, the 20, the 10, the 5, and knocked out of bounds there. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Savell Newton, he can tap dance, he can run, he can spin, he can do it all on his feet. 28 yards for the first down.
Here it is, Mike, like you say. Just opening holes for him, and he can do the rest. He's got the moves and the footwork to get by defenders.
Newton now has run for 25 yards. He's thrown for 91, and he loves that little jitterbug, little stutter step move. Never really seems to go in just one place. Mike Davis trying to muscle it up the middle and is stopped just short of the goal line. Mike Davis, the more physical of the two backs between he and Boyd. Brian Blair, the nose tackle out of Bennettsville, in on the stop.
Yeah, Mike Davis getting in his first carry of the ball game here, Mike, just showing that he's willing to play and give the extra effort to gain extra yards.
This will be the 10th play of this drive. Stafford, the up back, Corey Boyd will dot the I. Tight formation, Gamecocks going to try to gut it up the middle here. It'll be Boyd, he'll break it outside, touchdown Carolina. Corey Boyd into the end zone for the 2nd time tonight, and the Gamecocks have 6 more.
Great block by his fullback Stafford. Great block by the tight end. Great block by the wide receiver. Corey Boyd coming in, lowering his shoulder and getting in the end zone.
Suck up in for the extra point. Nearly automatic for Carolina. The only kick he's missed this year, a 51-yarder. That extra point is darn near perfect. Gamecocks out to a 14-3 lead with 12:18 remaining in the first half here on CSS. Catch Sports Night weekdays at 6 and 11 for a fast break debate of the hottest sports stories in the Southeast and the biggest sports celebrity guests. Join the Sports Night crew weekdays at 6 and 11 only on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. Alongside Josh Brown, the kicker. Mike Morgan with you here from Williams-Brice Stadium. Corey Boyd, his 2nd touchdown of the night on an impressive drive, covering 10 plays, 63 yards, 3 minutes, 48 seconds off the clock. Suckup going to try to boot it into the end zone again, and that's exactly what he'll do. No return there for Wofford. That's what Ryan Suckup does, as well as any kicker in the Southeastern Conference. Touchback city when he's kicking it off for the Gamecocks.
You know, Mike, going back to what you were saying about Corey Boyd being his second touchdown tonight, he's a guy that I was talking about playing with so much emotion. He's also a senior, along with Savell Newton, and that's something Coach Spurrier places a lot of importance on when putting guys in to be leaders, to be seniors on top of that, for the younger guys to follow through with.
This Gamecock team overall a very young team, but Savell Newton, one of the seniors. And here's Wofford on an option play to the left side, and that's the man that they really have to get in this game. Kevius Johnson, 5'9" junior out of Fitzgerald, Georgia, came in leading the Southern Conference in rushing. Southern Conference Freshman of the Year in 2003.
All the credit goes to his wide receivers right there, making great blocks. Quarterback carrying out his fake to the fullback, giving the pitch to the running back Johnson, and he can do the rest for you.
Johnson, a career average per carry of over 6 yards. Curtis Rice pushing him out of bounds. Here's a handoff up the middle and nothing doing there. You got a number of garnet jerseys there in on the stop for Carolina, including Curtis Rice again. Rodney Paulk also there for the Gamecocks. Rodney Paulk called his name a few times tonight. A lot of new names showcased on that defense. We already told you about all the new starters for the Gamecocks. Steve Spurrier saying, hey, if the front guys aren't going to give us the effort, if they're not going to get it done, I'll put the backups in. That time, absolutely no place for Josh Collier to run and hide. He is smothered behind the line of scrimmage. Joel Reeves, junior out of Marion.
Right here, defensive tackle coming in. Not fooled by any fakes for the quarterback. Like you say, Mike, the younger players getting a chance tonight. You know, Coach Spurrier's been saying all week, we're a building team, And that's telling me that he's trying to get the younger players in, give them the experience, and it's just going to pay off in the long run for the South Carolina.
Had a good look at Reeves there. He actually played at Georgia Military with the Brinkley boys. Here's a 3rd down and 11. Man in motion for the Terriers to the right. Collier rolls out there. He is just pummeled as he throws the football, and that's way out of bounds. Nobody there to make the reception, but give credit there to the pursuit by the Carolina front four.
Carolina coming through big on the defensive stop, being able to not let Wofford respond.
Emmanuel Cook with the hurry on that play, racing after Josh Collier. Cook's already got 5 tackles to lead the way for the Gamecocks. The punter is Chris Tommy, averaging nearly 42 yards per punt. It's a high end-over-end kick fielded at the 20 by McKinley. McKinley dancing around, now going in reverse, and he is stopped just ahead of the 25-yard line. He started in forward and then went the wrong way. Matt Norcia puts him down to the ground. Gamecock football when we return. Carolina leading at 14-3 here on CSS. Gamecock football, first down and 10 from the 26-yard line. Steve Spurrier still doesn't look exactly pleased. The Gamecocks with 2 good drives in this game, but I think Spurrier is looking for near perfection, Josh, tonight. He has not been pleased with the way his offense has been performed. He's taken a lot of the blame himself, but he wants to see this team roll up a lot of points tonight. You're
right, Mike, and if you look down the sideline, there's a lot of players that are just dressed in their uniform and shorts, and I think that's just making a statement to them that, you know, if I'm going to put you on the field, I'm putting my trust in you to perform to the best of your ability.
That's right. You know, we were talking about this before we went on tonight. A lot of those players that we can see that are not dressed up are players that have already played in the first 2 games. We're not talking about young men that are being redshirted, so Spurrier getting his point across.
It sure is.
First down, Savell Newton working this time under center. He'll get the snap from Chris White, 3-year starter, now in his 31st career start. Newton launching deep down the near sideline, but not on the same page with Corey Boyd.
Coach Spurrier pretty frustrated there. I don't think the offensive line gave Savell enough time to properly deliver the ball to Corey Boyd there, running a streak down the sideline.
Wofford Terriers getting some pressure here, Josh, and this Carolina offensive line, 3 new starters tonight.
That's right. You see him right there. You just can't deliver the football when somebody's right on top of you as soon as you hit your 5th step and you drop.
Second down and 10, and now here's a bad snap. Newton collects it on a couple of hops, throws it, almost intercepted. A dangerous pass intended for Mo Brown on the far sideline, but this is the same type of problem we saw a week ago.
You're right, and you know what the difference is, Mike? Savell Newton will pick that ball up and turn around and try to make something happen out of a broken play. And that's one of the key reasons that he's in there right now.
Now, White is a senior. I just mentioned 31 career starts. How do you explain that snap?
You know, it's just a mental breakdown because Chris White has the ability. And there's no doubt about that because he's been a starter for 2-3 years now. It's just a mental breakdown. Maybe something happened in the defense that he forgot to call. Just forgot how to properly snap the ball.
White, the anchor of the line, and now Newton spins out of a tackle. He's looking deep. He's got Rice, and catch is made at the 30. First down, Carolina. The improvisation by Savell Newton and Sidney Rice back to All-American form.
That's Savell Newton at his best right there. We can talk about this all night. He's just such a talented guy. Can elude from any defender. You see here, right there, just sheds his tackler, spins off, throws him off, looks downfield. It's who else but Sidney Rice, throwing it up in the vicinity, and he'll catch it.
Kyle Horn is still wondering how in the world Newton did not go down 46 yards on the hookup to Sidney Rice, who already has 3 catches for 96 yards. And now a timeout called by the Gamecocks. Nine minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the first half. The Gamecocks 14, the Terriers 3 on CSS.
Thank you.
Gamecocks leading at 14-3 here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Talking Football returns with new hosts and a new attitude. Don't miss all the engaging discussions, player interviews, and live viewer calls. If you want to stay on the pulse of college football this season, tune in every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern only on CSS. Well, that's what Steve Spurrier's looking for, an engaging offense and a new attitude. And Josh, I'm not so sure that right now he's getting everything that he wants.
No, you can tell Coach Spurrier down there on the sideline is just frustrated. He just is not getting the production that he wants out of his offense right now.
First down and 10. Newton under hot pursuit. Again, a little magic act, but this time he is swallowed up by the Wofford defensive line. The Carolina offensive line continues to struggle as McCullough and Treese in on the stop for the Terriers.
Number 96 here, McCullough, he is just battling up front with Chris White. I think he's kind of rattling Chris White. You know, he's got a bad snap and making some plays on defense, and Savell just can only elude him so much, you know.
Yeah. And McCullough's only a freshman, 6'2", 280-pounder out of Valley, Alabama. And again, not much there for Mike Davis. The Gamecock offense sputtering here for the most part of the first half. A couple of touchdowns, but I think the fans, Steve Spurrier and everybody else, expected to light up the scoreboard a little bit more.
Yeah, I caught some words from some players that there's no holding back tonight, and Coach Spurrier just wanted to get as many points on the board as possible from his offense.
Third down, 9 yards to go. Newton from the gun. Sidney Rice, top of your screen. It'll be a sprint draw and a nice ankle tackle there by 45 Justin Franklin, 6'2", 245-pound senior out of Jacksonville, North Carolina, the leading tackler on the team. Josh Brown, how is it that a team like Wofford, 1AA team, can hang with Carolina right now?
Well, you know, Carolina's struggling on offense, and that's evident. But Wofford sticking to the basics, staying low, exploding off the ball,
right,
hitting the right gaps and making things happen.
Can't stress enough, too, that man does a heck of a coaching job. There's a reason why he's the 5-time Southern Conference Coach of the Year. 42-yard field goal attempted by Suckup, and it is good. Ryan Suckup back on track. He's only missed one all year. 4 of 5 now on the season. So the Gamecocks now leading at 17-3. A 7-play drive, 49 yards, culminated by a Ryan Suckup 42-yard field goal. 3 minutes, 2 seconds off the clock, which leads 7:08 to go in the first half of play. Gamecocks up by 2 touchdowns. Boy, Ryan Suckup has got a real bright future, doesn't he, Josh?
He sure does. And, you know, last year as a freshman, he was just so competitive. And being able to come in and perform the way he did, like you say, 50% of his kicks were touchbacks. And he's got quite a strong leg. I think that's evident from his kickoffs and his field goal attempts. Last week or the first week, excuse me, versus Mississippi State, he had a 47-yarder that was probably good from at least 55.
Right. Amazing the strength in his leg. And, you know, you were known to hit a long field goal or two, but have you ever seen a guy in your days that has that kind of strength in his leg?
No, I don't, and I have not. And he is just one of those guys that he just puts everything into the ball. his whole body and just puts the ball down the field.
Here's Johnson streaking down the near sideline. Pretty good gain. In fact, give him about 9 yards there. A little option play to the short side of the field.
Right there, Wofford just getting a block on each one of Carolina's defenders. And there was great pursuit to the ball there. It's just Wofford had a hat on everybody and just allowed Johnson to get around the end for a gain of about 9 yards.
Here now is 2nd down and a yard. Fake the run, now looking to pass. Collier flushed out to the left, and he'll throw it away. Out of the pocket, past the line of scrimmage, so no intentional grounding. Ryan Brown, the man supplying the pressure. Let's take another look here, Josh.
Here we go with Carolina's defense, just not fooled again by the play-action fakes. Marvin Sapp getting in there, getting a good hit on him, along with Ryan Brown.
3rd down and a yard. The Terriers 2 out of 6 on 3rd down tonight. Collier, 6'2" junior, out of Bon Air, Georgia. Man in motion. Instead, they try to gut it up the middle. Stacked up at around the 30-31. If he's past the 30, he's got it. And I think he got a good spot. That was Michael Hobbs, stopped by Jasper Brinkley. The Wofford Terriers, led by head coach Mike Ayers in his 19th year, and what a fantastic year it was in 2003. 8-0 in the Southern Conference, kind of the SEC of 1AA. They made it all the way to the semifinals, and Mike Ayers that year winning the Eddie Robinson Award, going to the best coach in 1AA. He took over this program. They were NAIA. They went to 1AA, really took their lumps, and what an amazing job that he has done with this program. Timeout on the field, 6:21 to go in the first half of play. The Gamecocks leading it 17-3. Mike Ayers building this program up from nothing, 117 wins. Again, 0-1 versus South Carolina. That was against that great Gamecock team led by Phil Petty and company in 2001. But they've actually played a number of 1A opponents. This is the 9th game in the last decade against a 1A opponent, and they do have a victory. That was over Louisiana Monroe back in 2000. Their last win over an SEC opponent, 1950, against the Auburn Tigers. And those people right there, the Wofford Terrier faithful, if they could somehow squeeze out an upset, boy, they will be partying and dancing in the streets, probably not just tonight, but for a long time to come. And when you're a program like Wofford and you come into an SEC stadium, nobody expects you to win. Nobody even expects you to keep it close. But I think overall, Josh, you'd have to say Wofford has done a fine job in this first half.
So far, they really have. If they could get out of this half, only being down by a touchdown or two, I think they can mark that as being a successful half for the Wofford Terriers.
I think you're right. Here's a 1st down and 10 from the 31-yard line. Collier working from the gun, looking far sideline, and throws a one-hopper. Not going to get it done on that pass play.
Pass intended for Brian Whitehurst, incomplete.
I believe that pass was tipped at the line, Mike, and they manned up coverage on the defense.
2nd and 10.
Got confused as far as the defensive backs.
Brian Whitehurst, the intended target. Wofford, that game in 2001 was actually a fill-in game for South Carolina. The original game against Bowling Green canceled due to 9/11, but this is the first time in a while that Carolina has put Wofford on the schedule. One of the moves that Steve Spurrier has made, he says he wants to give the in-state schools a chance to come here and play the Gamecocks, whether it's SC State next year and Furman and so on and so forth. We take a look at Wofford, 568 yards rushing in 2 games, 67 yards tonight, which if you're Carolina, if you can keep them to that kind of total, you'll be in good shape. Here's another key 3rd down, 3rd and 7. Play goes to the right side, a little toss over to Kevius Johnson. Johnson breaks a tackle, the 40, the 30, turns on the Jets at the 20, cuts it back 10-5 and all the way to the 4-yard line. Kevius Johnson, one of the best backs, if not the best back in the Southern Conference, and shows you why right there, a home run threat every time he touches the football.
You got to give credit to the quarterback here, knowing when just to let the ball go and let the running back do his thing. Last week, Kevius had a over 100-yard run average. This week, going to be very close to it from the game he's had so far.
62 yards on the play as Wofford with a short gain on first down. Adrian Young with the carry that time. Look at those numbers. 6 carries, 108 yards. Not too bad, Josh.
No, not at all. I mean, that's big time right there. I mean, 6 rushes for 108 yards. And this guy's playing for Wofford. He's going to be one of the guys that the pro scouts are coming to practice for.
Now you know why we highlighted him in the open. He's a special football player. No question he could play at a number of 1A schools. Looks like a quarterback keeper. Penalty flag on the play. The linesman marking it short anyway. And Wofford, depending on the call, might have to go back here. No, it's going to be offsides on Carolina, so a big break there. That'll inch them closer to the goal line.
Wofford's got to come away with a score down here. They
offside. Defense number 21. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
That's Emmanuel Cook, the rover, offsides, and there it is.
He just gets drawn offside from the motion of the wingback, and you know, he's just trying to be aggressive.
Yeah. And again, Cook just a freshman, true freshman. A freshman mistake right there. That means the nose of the football is just a few inches away from the goal line. Everybody lined up tight around the football. Johnson in motion. They toss it to him right side, and he will walk in untouched. Kevius Johnson putting on a show in this first half for the Terriers, and Wofford is making a game of it. And a penalty flag, that might be a celebration penalty there, but nevertheless 17-9 with the extra point pending.
Yeah, this is what we talk about, Mike. Wofford cannot afford these foolish penalties. And, you know, what does this do? This backs, well, it probably is going to back the kickoff up, if not the extra point, depending on what they do here. But once again, if it backs the kickoff up, that's field position. You know, and Wofford cannot afford to give any extra slack to Carolina because they're going to take, you know, Coach Spurrier's going to take every advantage of that.
Absolutely right.
Following the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 20. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So they'll take it on the kickoff. That's probably a wise move. The guy that's about to kick, Nick Robinson, is the Southern Conference leader in points after touchdown with 118. That is the factoid of the night, folks. Write it down. Tell your friends tomorrow. Here it is from 20. And it is good. So the Wofford Terriers hanging with the Gamecocks. A 7-point game here late in the first half. Another look, Josh.
He owes every bit of this touchdown to his wide receiver that came down and got a good block on the linebacker. So he did not have a good pursuit angle on him, and he just walked in. Look right there, getting a good block right there around the end on Marvin Sapp, and Kevius Johnson could have walked in, I believe, Mike.
Well, Kevius Johnson missed last season. Actually was out of school for a year. He's back, and the Wofford Terriers are a much better team because of it. Another good drive for Wofford. Not as long as the last one, just 2 minutes 42 seconds, but 8 plays, 80 yards. And Johnson, who made most of the big plays on that drive, including a 62-yard scamper, runs in from 1 yard there to make it a 7-point ball game. So if Steve Spurrier was in a bad mood going into this ball game, Josh, I don't think his mood has improved any.
No, I wouldn't say so, Mike. He's probably really frustrated still down there on the sideline, trying to get the performance out of his offense that he wants. It's 17-10, almost at halftime. You know, Wofford's just creeping around, and this is exactly what you don't want, being South Carolina, letting a team like this come in here and disrupt the tradition that you're trying to create and build. And I know there's a lot of young players that he's playing, but he's trying to build.
That defense getting a long talk from the Carolina coaching staff. Mike Ayers certainly happy with what he has seen thus far. His team staying competitive here tonight at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. Cook on the return at the 30, 35. Penalty flag is down as he will finally, no, he's still on his feet. Emmanuel Cook, who was a star running back in high school, finally brought down near the 45. But again, a penalty flag. I'm sorry, Carlos Thomas on the return there. Carlos Thomas, have a feeling though this is going to be all for naught. Penalty flag thrown early on the return. Carlos Thomas has really given them a spark this year on kickoff returns. And there's the sign, a legal block in the back. Carolina returning kickoffs and punts the last few years has really been a sore spot, Josh. They just have not been able to get it going.
During the return, block in the back, 17 of the receive team. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
Coach Chatham, special teams coach under Coach Spurrier, came from Duke, had been at Duke since Coach Spurrier had been there.
Right.
If you've noticed this past year, we've had a lot of great returns, you know, no touchdowns, but, you know, great returns for 20, 30 yards. That is all because of that man right there. And he brings a lot to the table for special teams.
First down and 10 for Savell Newton. Trying to get something going here before the end of the half, and he'll get it going on his feet again. Finding some room, strolls out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. That'll be a gain of 21 for Savell Newton. And just going back to Coach Chatham here earlier, first we'll take another look as we watch Savell Newton.
He's just stepping up in the pocket, trying to look downfield, had everything covered, and he just does what he does best. Takes off with the ball, makes a couple moves, gets out of bounds. I mean, last year hurt his Achilles, so he didn't want to risk anything by taking on a linebacker head on, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Achilles has recovered quite nicely. He still has all the moves in his arsenal. Here's Corey Boyd. He's got a few moves. One of them to put that shoulder down and bulldoze his way for about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6. Kevin Adelman, who's one of 2 Wofford starters on defense from the state of South Carolina. He's from Malden. Going back to Coach Chatham, Josh, Coach Spurrier never wanted to shy away from a good quip. He said, well, you know, Coach Chatham was at Duke so long, he should have plenty of practice on how to return kickoffs.
That's for sure.
Here's the second down pass play. It's caught by Rice. Rice is tripped up. First down yardage at the Wofford 40. Dan Tavani in on the stop.
Here's the play that, you know, Coach Spurrier said it was about the only play that they could run successfully last week. Going ahead to Sidney Rice. I think he was a little mad at himself for not eluding that defender. He feels that being a preseason All-American, he's a little better player than that. But got 4 receptions already tonight for 110 yards.
Rice came in with just 5 catches on the year, which is clearly not as many as they want. Here's Corey Boyd finding some room. Some daylight, puts on the Jets at the 30, the 20, the 10, stumbles, leans forward, touchdown Carolina. Corey Boyd with a beautiful run, 40 yards, and the Gamecocks take another 6 points and put them on the scoreboard. It's 23-10.
What a great effort by Corey Boyd. I mean, he eluded about 2 or 3 defenders, snuck out when the whole Wofford defense had pursued that run, and took it off around the outside for a score.
Corey Boyd, a nifty run. Kind of combined toughness with quickness and a little bit of smarts to take that one outside as the extra point by Suckup is true. So back to a 2-touchdown lead, 24-10. That's not a good sight. Corey Boyd looks like a little bit of cramps, but he'll be okay. 10 carries for Boyd, 75 yards. As we take another look at this fine run, this will be fun to watch, Josh.
Oh yeah, look here. Corey Boyd getting wrapped up, actually stiff-arming a guy, getting a shot from another guy, just taking off around the outside. Sidney Rice not only proving his All-American abilities at receiving, but also blocking. Throwing a great block there.
A great shot by our camera crew, watching Boyd drag 3 white jerseys into the end zone.
Right here, Sidney Rice, great stalk block. You know what? It didn't matter because he did what he was supposed to do, and that get in the way.
Right.
You know?
And when you're the size of Sidney Rice, 6'4", well over 200 pounds, really a physical wide receiver, sometimes that's all you need to do, just get in the way. So Corey Boyd having himself one heck of a night, 3 touchdowns on 10 carries for 75 yards. 24-10 now. Your score, the Gamecocks leading it. Let's see what the Wofford Terriers have in mind in terms of a response. Wofford does have 2 timeouts to work with here with less than 3 minutes remaining. Return comes near side. There's a lane through the 20 and down to the 27-yard line.
Marvin Sapp on the tackle for Carolina. It will be a Wofford first down, starting from the 27.
First down and 10. First down and 10 for the Wofford Terriers from the 27. Gamecocks stacking them up at the line. 5 men on the line as the play goes to the right side. Collier, little toss sweep, and that time Carolina has it covered. Kevius Johnson stopped dead in his tracks for a loss. Big Stanley Doty in on the action, the 6'2", well, we'll call it 328, but with Stanley Doty, the weight is really always kind of a mystery, but trust me, folks, he's big.
He provides a great tool for the defense just to clog up that middle. Like you say, just a big guy that is able to just hold that center up and cause confusion there in the middle and make teams have to double team him sometimes.
Dakota Walker also into the game for Carolina, in on that play. Second down and 12. Gave us to the up back, and it's stuffed. And that's Stanley Doty stuffing it again. Stanley Doty may very well have the biggest rear end in football, and that's not a bad thing. You know, despite what society sometimes says in football, if you're a defensive tackle, this is a good thing.
You know, Stanley Doty, I think, is playing with a lot of emotion tonight because he got demoted to third team, like you said, coming into the season. Didn't know how to react to that. Didn't know if it was something he was doing. Coming through in a big way tonight, making some plays.
Yeah, had 3.5 sacks last year for Carolina. Everybody thought if he could just slim down, he could be one of the better players on this defense, but demoted to third team. They didn't like the dedication or lack thereof in terms of getting in shape, but a chance to kind of climb back into the starting lineup for good if he continues to play well, as Carolina has called a timeout here. Gamecocks want to get the ball back and try to run the hurry-up offense, get some more points on the board.
This could be a huge stand as far as Carolina goes going into the half. Maybe be able to do a little something with the ball if they get it back with enough time. You know, Coach Spurrier doesn't hold back for anything, so he might try to put, 6 more points on the board. So we'll see what Carolina does here.
Well, it'll be third down and 11 for Wofford. And you wonder if the Terriers are almost just happy going in the locker room down 14. Don't want anything bad to happen here. We'll see if they play it conservatively. A one-back set for Wofford, 3 wides. Now a man in motion, and kind of what we expected there. Just a conservative call up the middle. Joel Reeves in on another tackle for Carolina, and the Gamecocks will burn their final timeout, so that'll stop the clock with 1:12. And again, Carolina with 1 timeout left. Make that 0. They haven't changed it on the scoreboard yet. Now they do. So no timeouts. Gamecocks are going to have to just march down the field, try to collect some first downs. And this is where, Josh, when you've got a field goal kicker with the leg of Ryan Suckup, if you could just get it even close to inside that 40-yard line, you got a good chance.
You know, and last year warming up in games, my holder would take Ryan back during pregame at the away games. And, I mean, he would have him just straight up line up at midfield and just see if he could poke it in. And I tell you, I have seen him do it before. So I would not be surprised. And Coach Spurrier knows this. He'll put him out there. He's put him out there in scrimmages before from 65. So,
do you think that's the outer limits, 65?
I would say so.
Yeah.
He can probably, if he gets a hold of it, I would say 65 to 60 is his range without a wind. And, you know, there's not much of a breeze here tonight. It's been a very, very nice night for college football.
Gamecocks getting ready to return the punt. Punter is Chris Tomming. Wofford will punt it from the 29. Gamecocks almost with a block, and they rough the kicker. McKinley fields it at the 29. McKinley's got a lane. McKinley with some nice moves bumps into his teammate before falling backwards at the 48-yard line. Kenny McKinley, the hardest hit of the night on special teams was by one of Kenny's teammates. But this is going to be a roughing the kicker penalty on the Gamecocks.
You know, it's always a gamble, you know, when you come after a punt. Coming after the punt, either blocking it or roughing the punter, coming close.
Roughing the kicker on the receiving team. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, he didn't give us a number, but here's another look.
Right here's the punter, didn't even find the laces, just took it and punted it. He knew they were coming after him, and it's something that you can just sense. Just getting the ball off as soon as you possibly can. So there's no option for a block, and that's a risk that Carolina took there, and it kind of burned him. So we'll see if the defense can step up here.
Looked like Darian Stewart and Greg Wright, two of the guilty parties on that one. Wofford, not much doing there on another carry by Johnson. Dakota Walker with the tackle. Again, the Terriers more than content with going to the locker room down just 14 points. I don't think many people expected this one to be that close. But again, Wofford's such a well-coached team. Now, they are hurrying to the line here as the clock ticks down. You see it under 35 seconds. Terriers from the eye. And Collier's back to pass. Rolls out left. Now in trouble. He is double stuffed at the 43-yard line. Cody Wells in on the tackle, the junior out of Bellevue, Florida. Undersized linebacker, but he can pack a wallop.
I'll tell you what, last year, seeing Cody Wells, he just plays his heart out. And Coach Tyrone Nix will tell you the same exact thing. That's why he loves him on the defense, being a linebacker, being able to come up and pack a punch just like he did there.
That's Pauk and Cody Wells formulating a Josh Collier sandwich on that one. 3rd down and 11 with 16 seconds. Wofford has called timeout here. And Josh, depending on the arm strength of Josh Collier, you could possibly go for the end zone here. What do you think?
I don't know, Mike. It's like you say before, being down 14 points coming in, going into halftime, I think Wofford would be pretty happy with this. Regroup, go in at halftime, find out the adjustments you need to make, come back out, and you might have a legitimate shot of, you know, winning the game.
So a 3rd down and 11 here for the Terriers from the 44. Stoney Woodson into the game for the Gamecock secondary. Gamecocks playing 4 deep. Collier back to pass. He's going to launch it. And a man back there tipped up in the air and almost caught. My goodness, Chris Hampton found himself one-on-one downfield, and Wofford almost had themselves a Hail Mary. Would have got him in field goal range with 8 seconds to go.
You called it. You called it right there, Mike. Play action. Thinking they go in the locker room. Going downfield, Carolina manned up. I don't think they were expecting that. The ball just slipped right through his hand. He almost had it right there on the tip.
That was Andy Strickland, who is a sophomore out of Gaffney, South Carolina, just 1 catch on the year. So 4th down now with 8 seconds left. Could be the final play of the half. It's going to be a pooch punt. And Collier's done this before. He's got a few punts on the year. He's the backup punter on the football team, and that'll bring the first half to an end. Gamecocks will take a 2-touchdown lead into the locker room. Carolina getting 3 touchdowns from junior running back Corey Boyd, who had 75 yards on his own. Josh?
Well, this is the spot that Wofford wants to be in going into the locker room. Carolina needs to go in as well, regroup, find out what they need to do offensively, offensive line, running backs, receivers, and come back out second half with another attitude.
Corey Boyd, 75 yards. Sidney Rice already over 100 yards. And Savell Newton getting his first start of the year with a fine first half for Carolina. Second half action coming your way. Stay tuned. More to come on CSS. Again, our score at the half, the Gamecocks leading the Wofford Terriers by a count of 24-10. And we are now pleasure to be joined in the booth by South Carolina Athletics Director Eric Hyman. Eric, your thoughts of the first half thus far?
Well, Wofford's got a little bit of a pesky team, but the thing with us is that our program is going through a transitional period. When you play with the amount of true freshmen that we're playing, it's going to be a little bit of ups and downs. And thank goodness we got that touchdown at the end of the game. Corey Boyd's played well, and Savell getting back into sync as far as playing quarterback. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for him. But, we're up by 24-10, so we just got to continue to do that in the second half.
Eric, as we go away from football for just a moment, I know a lot of people want to get an update on how everything is going facility-wise. Let's start with the baseball stadium. A lot of talk about that going on. Where does the situation stand with the new baseball stadium?
Well, ironically, Friday we spent about 6 hours looking at the schematic design of the baseball stadium, and I will say to you, Mike, it is spectacular, unbelievable. And I think when the Carolina fans see the completion of it, they're going to be bowled over. We will take ownership of the land on the 31st of October, and then we'll have it opening day completed by 2008.
What about some of the other fall sports that you've been following? How does everything look elsewhere outside of football?
Well, it's looking real good. Congratulations to our women's soccer team who beat Clemson the other night, and our volleyball team beat Auburn, and our men's soccer team is top 10 in the country, and so our teams are doing exceptionally well.
How about the fans here tonight? Again, another good crowd. Coming after a tough loss, you never know how it's going to be, but again, the Gamecock faithful coming in scores.
Well, to be frank with you, that separates Carolina from all the other schools in the country, is a passion and a love for their university and for the Gamecocks and Gamecock football. And you put Steve into that equation, and that's a recipe for success. And I'm really excited about it. We really appreciate the Gamecock fans coming out and support the Gamecocks.
And of course, these fans have something to be really excited about. This football stadium, I don't think it's ever looked this good. You made a point to make some enhancements, some improvements on Williams-Brice Stadium, and certainly the fans appreciate that.
Well, that's exactly right. And Jeff Davis and Kevin O'Connell have done a wonderful job. We're not stopped yet. We haven't stopped. We're going to do some things next year. We're going to continue to try to improve things and make our fans very proud of the Gamecocks and the stadium. It's important how they feel, and we want them to feel that this is their home.
Well, I think they certainly feel that way. Eric Hyman, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us here at the half.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Again, our score, the Gamecocks leading the Wofford Terriers 24-10, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hall of Famer, Steve Tannehill.
Williams-Brice Stadium here in Columbia, South Carolina. Again, our score at the half, the Gamecocks 24, the Wofford Terriers 10. For the Gamecocks. Second half kickoff provided by Ryan Suckup. He's reached the end zone every time, and why not? He'll do it again. The Terriers and Brian Whitehurst forced to take a knee. First half stats dominated by Carolina, Josh.
Yes, Mike, you look, Carolina, question of the game, is South Carolina getting out of the game what they want offensively? And you look, they got a total offense of gain of 278 yards, 125 on the ground, 153 through the air. compared to Wofford's 136, and had ball control 5 more minutes. It by far is the best output of the year so far for Carolina, but there still is room for improvement.
There's Kevius Johnson, first down yardage on the carry. Kevius Johnson stopped by Brinkley and Cook. Johnson coming up a little lame there. That's the last thing Wofford could afford to have right now. Johnson, really the one spark plug that they've had.
Here, same play we saw first half. Quarterback looks and says, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to my 2,000-yard rush man and let him get the rest.
Something on that left leg. 10 carries, 120 yards for a score. Not bad at all. Looked like a little motion there by Wofford before the snap. This one could be coming back 5 yards.
Flag on the play.
That was a heads-up play by the quarterback Collier. His running back got a little out of reach for him, and he just kind of shoveled the ball to him.
That was Brian Whitehurst on the carry.
Number 3 in the offense. 2-man in motion, only 1-man reset. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So first down and 15 yards to go now for the Wofford Terriers. Again, Carolina leading at 24-10. All 3 touchdowns by Corey Boyd. And if Corey Boyd can continue in the second half, could be looking at some records for Corey Boyd. The total touchdown record, Dingle in 90 and Stanley Pritchett in 95. Rushing touchdowns, Corey Boyd has already tied many Gamecock players in that category. First down play, little toss sweep to the left side, and strung out well by the Gamecock defense.
Whitehurst on the carry.
Whitehurst on the carry, but Jasper Brinkley with yet another tackle. The 278 total yards for Carolina in the first half is a season high. So too the 24 points on the scoreboard.
Second down, 11.
Wofford coming out really needs to set the tone as they're here and they're not going away for the second half.
Second down and 11. Back to pass, tosses over left side, and immediately brought down by Emmanuel Cook. Fenn Allen, the tight end. First time we've called his name tonight. 6'5", 245-pound sophomore out of Concord, North Carolina. Again, Wofford only has 4 starters from their home state of South Carolina. They recruit all over the place. Such a great school academically. A number of young men going there to get a good education and play some college football in the process. Here's a key third down and 9. Wofford trying to get off to a good start here in this second half. Collier on the option, pitches it over to the right side, and near the marker for the Terriers is Romero. Josh Brown, we hear a lot about the option. Tell us more about what Wofford's trying to get done tonight.
Well, option is such a tough thing to defend defensively. But you look here, the quarterback reading the end, faking to the fullback, all the congestion there in the middle, and then he just options off the end. And that end, Dakota Walker, great athlete, but you can't help when you have such a good pitch relationship between your quarterback and running back. It's just so hard to defend.
An empty backfield look here. Couple of wing backs, and there's a guy in motion as Collier stumbles after getting the snap, and that pretty much puts an end to that play in a hurry. It'll be second down and long. Gamecocks have played a lot of different defensive players tonight. Again, 4 new starters. We've also seen guys like Dakota Walker, Lemuel, Jean-Pierre, Joel Reeves, Cody Wells. Three men behind Collier. He'll give it to Romero, 45, and down to midfield. Dane Romero out of Westchester, Ohio, brought down by Rodney Pauk.
Wofford's in a great position right now because they got Carolina on their heels and they're just throwing everything at him. Right here's some misdirection with the running back and just catches the defense off guard with it.
Third down and a long 2. Romero behind Collier. Gamecocks with 6 near the line. Now they back off a couple. Collier going far side, late toss and a first down for Dane Romero, and a nice job there by Collier to wait to the last second.
Yeah, that was a great job. That was a power option. He had 2 lead blockers out in front of him. Waited, be patient. Got to be patient. The option pitching to the back in the last second. Right here, he's waiting. Make him commit. He made Cody Wells commit right there. Pitched to his back and let his back put his head down and get the first down.
You know when you wait that long, you're going to take a lick as a quarterback, so you got to be tough to do that right.
That's right.
First down and 10 from the 42. This time it goes to the left side. Collier's going to keep it himself. Does a little cutback near the 40. And pulled down at the 39-yard line. Quick feet here displayed by Collier.
He is. He's got great quickness right there. Alert, know when to stop, cut back when the defense is over pursuing. That's why it's called the option, because there are so many different options that can happen. The defense has to be on their feet at all times.
Cody Wells, another tackle on the play for Carolina. Second down, 6 yards to go. Wofford trying to milk as much time off that clock as possible. They would love to win the time of possession battle in this game. There's a little misdirection and a whole lot of room near sideline. 35-30 and down to the 28. Nice job by Darian Stewart, the backup safety, to stop that before it was a huge game, but it is a first down for the Terriers.
You know, Mike, you talk about pursuit angles, and here you see Dakota Walker. He's in the right spot. He just didn't break down on the ball carrier and wasn't ready for that reverse. He was in the right spot, just didn't make a play.
The offense that Mike Ayers and company run, a lot of deception, misdirection. Had a chance to talk to Coach Ayers earlier in the week. He says he always wanted to get a numbers count on you. He wants to attack your 5 side, as he puts it. Got a lot of small backs, so he'll rotate a bunch of them. Here's another give between the tackles, and nice pursuit there. Jasper Brinkley quickly stopping that play.
Right, and as far as coaching philosophy goes, attacking the 5-man side, that's the side that he wants to go to when he can outnumber the defense.
Right.
Which gives
Second down, 8.
the best chance for a successful play.
You know, Carolina, you also have to give this defense some credit. I mean, the SEC, you're not going to see a whole lot of wing bone, wing T, or triple option. So you've got guys that are learning this new offense that they're facing. They only have 1 week to prepare, and I think overall they've done a pretty good job in this ball game. Here's a second down and 8. Trying the short side of the field, the right side. Modest gain for Dane Romero as Cody Wells in on yet another stop. Cody Wells, an interesting guy, Josh. He's small. He's 5'11", 212 pounds. Doesn't look like a linebacker, but the guy is a ball hawk.
That's right. I mean, he packs a punch. I mean, he's one of those guys that summer workouts, he's in the weight room working out, and he's staying after saying, Coach, what can I do to make myself better, not only me, but the team.
Third down and 4 here for the Terriers. Wofford 6 out of 12 on third down tonight. Romero in motion. Give up the middle, and he's short of a first down by about 2 yards as Curtis Rice with a stop. So a 4th down and 2 for the Terriers, and it looks like Wofford's going to go for it.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely going to go for it. Right now, you look at the time. They're eating up this clock, running the ball. 12 plays. I mean, the defense right now, this is a good time for Wofford to pick a perfect play that they want to run, but also gives the Carolina a chance to get a break. They've been out there for 12 plays.
Wofford will call the first time out of the second half. Gamecocks up 24-10, and we'll be back in a moment. Wofford 1 out of 2 on fourth down tonight. Button, Young, and Romero, the backs. Josh Collier doesn't like what he sees, and a timeout call. So the Terriers forced to burn back-to-back timeouts. That'll leave Mike Ayers' group with just one for the rest of the game. Gamecocks leading at 24-10, 8:27 remaining in the third quarter of play. If you joined us late, Corey Boyd, 3 touchdowns, 75 yards. Sidney Rice, 4 receptions, 110 yards. And Savell Newton, 8 of 11 for 153 yards through the air. Josh, right now, this Wofford team, if they can convert on this fourth down, again, a long drive, just what they want, getting key runs here and there, and trying to get another 6 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Wofford coaches are very smart right now to take a timeout, to really take a second look at the defense. That's exactly what they wanted. They wanted to come out and find out what Carolina's going to line up in and how they're going to defend this play, because this drive right here is setting the tone for the second half. And like I said before, Wofford just came out, basically said, you know, we're Wofford and we're hanging around here and we're not leaving. And are really playing a tough ball game so far this fall.
Key play right here, fourth down and 2 for the Terriers. Here's an option left side. Collier tries to get it, can't do it. Ball's on the ground. Sapp in on the stop, and Wofford is short. Either way, it's going to be Carolina football. So the long drive, taking over 6.5 minutes, comes to an end without Wofford getting any points on the board.
Look here, option. A fullback kind of got in the way of the quarterback. That might have disrupted the timing a little bit, but you know what? Carolina defense coming up in a big way right there.
Marvin Sapp jarred it loose as we get another look.
First down, Carolina from the 20.
First down and 10 from the 20 for Carolina. Newton hands it off to Boyd, and he's stuffed behind the line, a loss of 2. And Wofford saying they got the football, but looks like it was blown dead. Now Corey Boyd comes up lame. He had cramps earlier in the first half. Let's hope that's the severity of this one, but he looks like he's holding that right ankle. Trainer's taking a look. And right now, Gamecock fans holding their breath. 8:01 to go in the third quarter. Carolina 24, Wofford 10 on CSS. Corey Boyd on the sideline as a penalty flag thrown to the ground before the ball is snapped.
Dead ball, substitution infraction, 39 of the offense. Broke the huddle with 12 players. It's a 5-yard penalty, second out.
That's Leonard Stafford. Corey Boyd, 11 rushes tonight, 74 yards and 3 scores. And he's testing that ankle out right now. You know he wants to get back in there. And Josh, you played with him. There's not a tougher running back out there than Corey Boyd.
No, I think when you saw him come off the field, he was more frustrated with him not being able to play.
2nd down and 16 now. Here's a little end around by Mo Brown. They want to utilize his speed, and that's a good way to do it. We used to see Troy Williamson run that play a lot for the Gamecocks. Mo Brown, the true freshman out of Anderson, South Carolina. Maurice Falk trips him up. 13 yards on the scamper. It'll be 3rd down and 3. High formation. Give this to the deep back. That's Davis trying to fall forward. He is upended. Well shy of the 1st down, and then a late penalty flag. Kevin Adelman, 6'2", 230-pound junior out of Malden with the tackle. Transfer from Presbyterian.
Face mask, 45 to the defense. 5-yard penalty at the end of the run. 1st down.
Well, that's a big call. That's Justin Franklin, and that puts the Gamecocks back in business, a 1st down.
Yeah, Mike, this is what we were talking about, those foolish penalties that Wofford cannot afford to give Carolina if they're looking to win this game.
So 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 33-yard line. Davis and Stafford going to take over the running duties with Corey Boyd nursing that ankle on the sideline. Savell Newton has gone the distance so far tonight. Steps back, throws over the shoulder of Mike Davis, streaking down the near sideline, but no chance for a connection there. Brandon Berry with good coverage.
Take a look at Coach Spurrier on the sideline. He is getting quite frustrated down there with his offense. He's had a penalty breaking the huddle with 12 men, and right now his offense is just not producing the way he wants them to.
That's Chris Smelly right there, the true freshman out of Tuscaloosa. I think a lot of fans would love to see him get in this game. I think most of them know what Savell Newton can do. Want to find out what Chris Smelly can do. Here's more of what Savell can do. He can make a lot of moves with those jitterbugging feet. He dances there for about another 9 yards.
Mike, this guy is just flat out quick. Look at his feet moving. Look at it chopping his feet. Change of direction on the snap of a finger.
Dan Tavani trips him up. Otherwise, Savell Newton might still be running. Carolina could get another touchdown here. As you see the numbers on Newton, 8 of 12, 153 yards through the air, 56 rushing. Incidentally, Savell Newton, he's thrown for 8 scores. He's run for 7, and he's caught 2 touchdowns in his Gamecock career. Last year, you might have joined us for a pay-per-view affair against Vanderbilt. In that game, an outstanding game. He ran through and caught his way into the SEC Player of the Week honors. And that was when Steve Spurrier said, we've got to get this guy the ball more. Unfortunately, that game near the end of it, that's when Savell Newton tore his Achilles and was out the rest of the year. 1st and 10. Newton going to take it himself, left side. Takes the blow and is knocked out of bounds after a gain of 6. Savell Newton not shying away from the contact on that run.
No, he's definitely not. And I think that's showing you that Savell Newton is able to lower his head and get that extra yard if he really needs to. He saw this blocker coming head on and said, you know what? Better think again.
Brandon Berry says, okay, you're a quarterback. You're going to run out of bounds. I'm here on the boundary. Savell says, nah, I think I'm going to level you. I feel like I want to take out a hit on somebody. 2nd down, 3 yards. Again from the eye. Newton, quick pass to Sidney Rice. Shakes and bakes past the 40 and down at about the 38-yard line where Maurice Falk takes him down.
You know, I think that's what Coach Spurrier wants to have a lot of times is a one-on-one matchup with Sidney Rice, where he can just throw it out to him and say, hey, do what you do best and make guys miss and get some yardage.
That's the 5th catch for Sidney Rice. Wofford's had all kinds of injuries with their secondary. Brandon Berry is a converted wide receiver. Corey Boyd getting tended to on the Gamecocks sideline as Newton going deep on a post pattern, has his man, and another big play for Sidney Rice.
I'm telling you, you throw it in the vicinity of Sidney Rice, he's going to come down with it.
They're not going to stop it, are they?
No, they sure aren't. There is an All-American at work, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look. That was a little low throw, but you know what? He gets down with his big 6'4" frame and comes down with the ball.
O.J. Murdoch and Chris Hale into the game. Newton hands it off to Davis. Davis stacked up inside the 5 and blown dead there. Justin Franklin, their leading tackler, in on another stop. Well, some good things coming out of this game. Sidney Rice, people asking, where's he been? What's going on? No touchdowns. Just 5 catches. Well, he's got 6 tonight, 151 yards, and I think that's more to everybody's liking.
Yeah, I think looking back now, you can say that the output for Sidney Rice was up to par tonight, so far.
Sidney Rice back into the ball game, top of your screen. Newton, too much time, and he is sacked. Now the ball on the ground. Mike Davis looked like he recovered it for Carolina. Savell getting a little careless handling the football there. Sometimes you got to know when to go down.
Here he is. You know, sometimes this is what you run into when you put somebody like Savell back here. He's trying to make so much happen with the ball that he just gets caught up and fumbles the ball when he's trying to slip defenders and got guys attacking him from every angle.
And give Mike Davis credit. If he's not alert, doesn't dive on that football, Wofford has the football back. Would have been a turnover. So 3rd down and goal from the 12. Newton steps up in the pocket. Now going to take it himself. The 10 and down inside the 5-yard line where it'll be 4th down. That's one of the things about Savell is that he doesn't trust the pocket as much as Blake does. He had more time there, didn't necessarily need to tuck it and run, Josh, but I think Steve Spurrier eventually, if Savell's going to keep this job, would like to see him be a little more patient.
That's right. Take a look here. He takes his drop, and from the last play, he got quickly flushed out of the pocket and decided he was just going to tuck it and run. Didn't take a second look at anybody.
So Ryan Suckup with a chance to put 3 more on the board. Again, 4 of 5 on the year. The kick is up, and it is good. A chip shot for Suckup, 22 yards, and the Gamecocks extend the lead to 27-10. 2:06 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play here on CSS.
Let's check the scoreboard this evening. These games are in progress in the 3rd quarter. Tulane 20, Mississippi State 7. In the 4th, Kentucky 20.
Welcome back to Columbia Williams-Brice Stadium where the Gamecocks lead it by 17. Love the game? Catch it again on CSS with our college football encore presentations. Visit css-sports.com for our full SEC and ACC game schedule. Only on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. 2:06 remaining in the third quarter of play. The Gamecocks 353 total yards now, and that last scoring drive, 6 minutes, 14 seconds off the clock, 13 plays, 75 yards. Josh, they wanted 6, but again, right now, if Carolina keeps scoring on each drive, they'll take it.
That's right. And Carolina needs to put points up on the board, but, you know, the loss of Corey Boyd, you know, you cannot replace somebody that plays with so much heart, drive, and desire. He's one of the toughest running backs that I've ever seen come through Carolina, and the loss of him is not good for Carolina.
Yeah, that's going to be the story, perhaps, of the week. How's Corey Boyd's ankle going to hold up as Suckup? It might as well not even put a return guy there. Just let it roll dead in the end zone. No returns for Wofford tonight. There's Boyd on the sideline. The team doctor, Dr. Guy, taking a look. And Josh, no question, I mean, without Corey Boyd, this offense takes on a whole other look.
Oh, yeah. Had to sit out all last year. That just shows he is determined to come back to this university and help this football team out. Right there, he is trying to convince Dr. Guy that he's ready to go back in. I guarantee that.
Dr. Guy saying, look, we're up 17 points. Might not be the time to put you back in. There's a good open field tackle there by the Gamecocks. Look at Darian Stewart in on the stop.
And I tell you what, Cody Wells packed a punch on Collier, the quarterback for Wofford that time. He got up slow.
Cody Wells has been all over the field tonight. Again, one of those guys you never think of. He's hardly a menacing figure at 5'11", 212, but so much of the linebacking position is instincts, and Josh, he's got them.
He sure does. He's got that heart that nobody can replace.
2nd and 7. Man in motion. Up the middle is Adrian Young. Remember earlier, Wofford's top running back, Kevius Johnson, had to go to the sideline. So both teams right now, without the benefit of their top yardage guys throughout the year. 3rd down and a yard, if that, probably closer to 6 inches. Clock ticking down. There's Johnson right there. He looks okay, but you have to figure if he was 100%, he'd be in this game right now. See what the Terriers can do here. The up back, he's got it. He's got more. Little tap dance move at about the 34 before being pushed back. Give him the 35-yard line. It'll be a 1st down and 10 for the Wofford Terriers.
It was a great offensive play for Wofford, picking up the 1st down there and keeping the drive alive. They really need to respond to Carolina's field goal here if they want to stay in this.
And I think Wofford will be content with letting that clock run down. As we'll get set for the 4th quarter, the Gamecocks will take a 27-10 lead into the 4th. It's been mostly Gamecocks tonight. 353 yards of total offense. Corey Boyd, 3 touchdowns, and Sidney Rice a big game. 4th quarter coming your way. Stay tuned on CSS. Gamecocks with a 27-10 lead as we get ready for the fourth quarter of play. And now let's send it back down to the field. Heisman Trophy winner George Rogers is standing by.
I can tell you right now, this crowd is not into all this right now. I tell you what, Carolina needs to get some points, and they need to get them fast. First, our defense has got to stop them. We hadn't did a good job of doing anything today to me. It's just so, the crowd is not into it because we had big plays after big play, but Carolina just ain't doing it in the second half.
Thank you very much, George. George Rogers working sideline tonight, doing a fine job. I tell you what, if the Gamecocks need an extra back, George is ready. We've got some pads down there for him. He still looks like he could rush for 100. First down and 10. Little toss for Wofford. That pass play will cover all of about 3 feet.
Yeah, Mike, we got a different look here from, I think, a different quarterback now. Wofford.
And that's going to be the backup Travis Boyd into the game for the Terriers, a 5'9", 195-pound sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky. And George Rogers, I tell you what, there's a guy, you want to talk about an ambassador for the program. Everybody knows about his playing days for Carolina and in the NFL, but George Rogers still does so much, has a local charity here, and always speaks to the young players. He's kind of a mentor for a lot of the running backs. And Josh, I know in your playing days you had a chance to interact with George a number of times. Just talk about what he means to the program.
Well, I mean, you look at him and look at what he did here for the university, winning the Heisman and bringing a lot of attention and putting Carolina on the map, kind of basically. And he's just a great motivator to have around to show that, you know, you can have success at Carolina.
There is not a more popular figure in Columbia, South Carolina than George Rogers. Wofford 7 of 14 tonight on third down, looking at a 3rd and 7 here. Collier pitches it right side. Oh, a broken tackle there, and then a thumping at about the 47th. That'll be first down yardage. A nice run there by the Wofford Terriers. And that's the first time that we've seen Frank Dominowski. Frank Dominowski, 5'9", 185-pound sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Wofford running an option play to perfection there again. But I'll say it again, Cody Wells laid a good lick on the quarterback. You know, and that's the rules of the defense. He's got to pick up the quarterback whether he pitches it or not.
First down and 10 from the Wofford 48. Collier, a dangerous pitch at the very last second, just gets it off. A couple of yards, ball was jarred loose after he was down. That's Brian Whitehurst on the carry. Emmanuel Cook providing the lick.
Great heads-up play there by the quarterback. Going down the line of scrimmage, meeting Dakota Walker head on, but instead of pitching it, Dakota was almost like a basketball defender there, ready to jump in front of the pitch, and just did a heads-up thing and throwing it over top of him.
That was a nice jump shot by Collier. He had a man in his face and Walker looking for the block, and Collier just followed through like a basketball shooter. 11 different players tonight with carries for the Wofford Terriers as they're spreading the wealth. Here's a give up the middle. Short gain for Michael Hobbs. I'll tell you what, Wofford will keep you busy on the 2 deep, 3 deep, 4 deep. They've got so many different guys that'll run the football. You got to keep your roster in check when you're calling a Wofford Terrier ball game.
That's a good thing for Wofford to be able to do, to be able to spread the wealth with the ball. Being 3 and 4 deep, it just provides versatility for your offense. You know, and you can go to anybody at any point in time.
Right. Here's another third down. 3rd and 5 from the 47. Gamecocks, 5 men on the line. Here's another reverse play, and he is swallowed up by Dakota Walker. Dakota Walker read it all along. Andy Strickland, the sophomore receiver out of Gaffney, trying the chicanery but unable to get any positive yardage.
There's Dakota Walker again. Remember in the first half he got burned on that play because he didn't break down on the guy running the reverse, and this time he had it sniffed out the whole way. That's why the Coach Nix does that pursuit drill every day to start off practice.
4th down and long. Kenny McKinley should have a chance to field this punt. He's parked at the 20. Circles around, will grab it at the 16. McKinley trying to find the corner. The 25, and is tripped up at the 26-yard line by Fenn Allen of Wofford. Terriers trying to hang tough with the Gamecocks. Carolina leading at 27-10 here on CSS.
Carolina first and 10 from the 27. The Gamecock Gear Stadium store will be open for 1 hour following tonight's game.
Welcome back, Williams-Brice Stadium, Columbia, South Carolina, on a beautiful Saturday evening. 27-10, the Gamecocks leading the Wofford Terriers. As you take a look at Kenny McKinley.
That's right. Kenny McKinley is just one of those unsung heroes for the offense, and you saw him last on that punt return, just getting yards after yards. And he's one of those guys that played as a true freshman, and he's going to come through in a big way his next 3 years here at Carolina.
Yeah, he's really stepped up as kind of that number 2 receiver, particularly if Savell Newton's going to stay as the quarterback. Well, you really are left with Kenny McKinley. He's going to have to take some of the pressure off of Sidney Rice. Savell Newton has played this entire ball game at quarterback. Newton 10 of 14, 194 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. 4-wide formation. Newton working out of the gun. Quick toss, complete at the 25. And stopped at about the 27 is that man, Kenny McKinley.
Yeah, talking with Coach Spurrier, he just talking about Kenny McKinley and how tough a kid he is. I remember last week when he had called that pass over the middle and got his bell rung against Georgia, jumped right up, pulled him out over the sideline. He's ready to go next play.
25 catches a year ago for McKinley. Just 1 touchdown. That game against Arkansas. And they'd like to get McKinley into the end zone more often. Wofford, not surprisingly, controlling the time of possession. As you see, a whole lot of dancing here by Mo Brown. Brown, if you include horizontal yardage, that's about 40 yards on the play, but unfortunately, no gain for Mo Brown.
If you look here, Savell Newton handing off on the little end around play. Mo Brown looking for room, but look at Savell Newton come back and making a nice block right there. Able Mo Brown to get an extra 5 yards, but you know, it's still for a loss.
You know, Mo Brown is a guy Steve Spurrier really likes. He's quick to point out he's only a freshman, still has a lot to learn, but the future is bright for Mo Brown. Newton, bad pass intercepted into triple coverage. Franklin going the other way, and the Terriers will have good field position on the first turnover. First interception committed by Savell Newton. Wofford Terrier football when we return with 9:39 to go. Gamecocks still with a 27-10 lead on CSS. First and 10, Wofford. Collier under center. Collier going right, looking to pitch it, but can't do it. He is swallowed up before he can let loose. Eric Norwood, a very talented freshman Coaching staff says he comes off the ball better than any other lineman on the team, and he did just that right there, Josh.
He sure did. Mike, this is one of the freshmen that I wasn't able to chance to get to know, but you can tell that he, just by the way he celebrated on that play, that he provides a lot of emotion, a lot of motivation to the defense, only being a freshman.
Eric Norwood, number 40. You're going to hear that name quite a bit over the next few years as the Gamecocks trying to find a good pass rusher. Here on 2nd and long. Pretty good yardage between the tackles for Wofford. That's Adrian Young, who's gotten a bulk of the carries ever since Kevius Johnson went out with an injury.
Look here, this is just a fullback dive up the middle. Good push, offensive line from Wofford, allowing Young to get that positive yardage to get down there inside the red zone and try to get 6 on the board here.
3rd down and 5. The marker's at the 5. Collier hands it off, nothing doing. Adrian Young is pummeled by several Garnet jerseys, including 95 Nathan Pepper.
Nathan Pepper, one of those guys that had to play as a true freshman. Small, but quick off the ball here. Just got to surge and beat that guard. Straight off the ball, lowest man wins, coming through, getting the guy in the backfield.
Well, the Terriers had trouble on a field goal attempt in the first half. And this one will be from about 28 yards. Nick Robinson, the senior, out of DeLand, Florida. Here's the kick. It's up, and it's good. So the Terriers get 3 more. That'll make it 27-13. Mike Ayers liking what he sees. 7 minutes, 19 seconds to go in this ball game. The Gamecocks will get it back. Stay tuned for an encore presentation of the Ole Miss game against Kentucky. Thanks for watching CSS, your source for Southeast sports. Tell you what, if you got CSS, you get to watch all kinds of games. A great station for any college football fan. As we take a look at some of the fans, Gamecock faithful, George Rogers pointing out earlier, the crowd perhaps a little bit flat. Sometimes that's what you come to expect in a ball game like this. It's not going to be as loud as it would be for a Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. It'll be awfully loud here in about a week and a half when the Gamecocks will welcome the Auburn Tigers to town. Auburn, another victory defeating LSU, so the Tigers have the inside track in the Western Division. And Josh, as we pointed out in the open of this ball game, a loss to Georgia hurts, but this team still can do so many great things if they just get in sync with one another.
That's right, Mike. And you kind of step back and look at what Coach Spurrier is doing right now. You look at the score, 27-13, and you say, well, shouldn't we be beating Wofford by more than this? But, you know, this is all in Coach Spurrier's plan that, you know, we got Florida Atlantic next week, and then we play Auburn. You know, he's got a plan set out for each game and what he wants to run and who he wants to play. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't beat these two teams by a lot just because he wants to work on the little things in the offense. Just the little things that's going to make the year go smoother and be more productive offensively.
Well, unless my eyes are deceiving me, there's a number 3 in the ball game for Carolina. Here on the special teams return, he's not one of the deep backs, but that's Corey Boyd at the 45. So that's a good sign if that is indeed Corey Boyd. Gamecocks looking to return here. Scoring drive for the Wofford Terriers. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, the return, fielded by none other than Carlos Thomas. Thomas fumbles the football. And let's see. Looks like Carolina got it back. Now, the Gamecocks put it on the ground way too many times last week, and here's another fumble, Josh.
I'm going to tell you what, Carolina was saved right there by Corey Boyd. By Corey Boyd. And I'm telling you what, they could have been in a heap of trouble right there if Wofford would have recovered that ball.
You lose that fumble there, Wofford scores. It's a one-touchdown game.
Yep.
And how about Corey Boyd, even with a bum ankle, playing special teams, comes up with a big play. Brian Kingery, the fullback, into the game for the first time tonight. Another quick pass to Sidney Rice. Not much there, a whole lot of white jerseys, and that'll be a loss on the play as he is smothered.
Take a look at Coach. I mean, it is. You wonder why, as a fan looking at this, why is this the only play that Carolina can run?
Right.
You know, is this all we got offensively? We're throwing the quick route to Sidney Rice and let him try to make a move?
Yeah, I mean, if Sidney Rice goes deep, who on Wofford's going to stop him, I think, is what a lot of people would be asking right now. Rice has had a good game tonight, 7 grabs, 151 yards. He's at the top of your screen on this play. And another run up the middle for Carolina. Modest gain for Mike Davis. Seth Goldwire, sophomore out of Guyton, Georgia, in on the stop. Now we're nearing the 5-minute mark of this game, and you know, Carolina's put up a lot of yards tonight, but 27-13, I'm not sure if this is what Coach Spurrier had in mind, Josh.
No, I don't think he did either, and you can take a look at him on the sideline. His hair is all messed up, and he's been throwing his headset off and throwing his sheets down, and you look at the total yards. Yeah, they are beating Wofford in total yards, but Wofford is probably beating them in time of possession.
Newton throwing across the field. Here's a jump ball for Rice, and that is incomplete. A dangerous pass there. Brandon Berry, the converted wide receiver, in on the coverage. That's a pretty good barometer, Josh. The hair for Spurrier. If it's finely combed, things are going well. If it's kind of frazzled, well, then he's not too happy.
Yeah, you definitely know that he's stressed. He's constantly taking his headset on and off, and just can't get that spark that he's looking for in the offense.
This will be the first punt of the night by Ryan Suckup, who does double duty for Carolina. Place kicking, triple duty, that's right. Place kicking, kickoffs, and punting. Leave it to a kicker to make sure that I give him credit for that third part. You don't want to underestimate kickoffs, especially when you're as good at it as Ryan Suckup. And this one might be a fake. Suckup, oh goodness. Suckup in the end zone, throws it incomplete. Just an ugly play there, intended for David Lagis. And that's going to be a safety. I think that's going to be an intentional grounding in the end zone. He didn't get it back to the line of scrimmage. This might be 2 points for the Terriers.
Mike, what they do on these punts is they try to move the block point to not let the defense get a good read on where they need to come in and attack the offense.
Let's see what the referee's going to call here.
There's no foul on the play. Number 92 was wearing an eligible number. Pass is incomplete. First down.
So the Gamecocks dodge a big play there. Could have been 2 the other way. More action coming your way here on CSS.
It's first and 10 from the 25 for Wofford.
First down and 10 for the Terriers. Collier throws complete. 15, 10, 5, and a touchdown for Wofford. And this is on its way to being a 7-point ball game. Andy Strickland crosses the goal line, 25 yards on the reception. And how about the Wofford Terriers?
They're back in it real quick. Doesn't take much for a team to get back in a ball game, does it, Mike?
It certainly doesn't, and Wofford has not given up at any stage in this game. What an unbelievable effort by Wofford. Big extra point here. Splits the uprights, and it's a 7-point game, would you believe it? 27-20. Let's take some looks at this last score, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, Wofford's just hitting Carolina where it hurts the most. A little play action fake here. Dropping back up, plenty of time. Hitting wide open receiver, missed tackle there. And just walks in the end zone.
Made it look easy.
Oh, too easy.
Made it look easy. Here's another one.
Nope, just nobody within range. Looks like there's no effort there. You see a couple of D-backs just figuring that he's going to get the tackle.
Just a simple crossing route, nothing fancy there. You're not going to see Wofford with a whole lot of fancy pass plays. We were talking about this earlier, just to give a further explanation. The reason that was not a safety, Lagus goes as a tight end, so technically he is an eligible receiver. If that was an offensive lineman, that would have been a safety. Series history, Wofford has won 4 out of the first 7 meetings, but the last win, 1917. And somewhere up in this press box, there's a man by the name of Tom Price saying, I was there when that happened. Tom Price, the historian for South Carolina, has been around this program for a long, long time. And the Wofford Terriers trying to make history. The last time that Wofford defeated a 1A opponent, you got to go back to 2000 when Mike Ayers' bunch defeated Louisiana Monroe. And Steve Spurrier, if you thought he wasn't enjoying life earlier, he is sweating bullets right now and certainly not happy with the way his team is closing out this ball game.
I mean, you look at Coach Spurrier asking Coach Chatham what happened, and you know, Coach Chatham, you can only tell the kids what to do out there, and you know, you leave it all to them for the rest to figure things out.
So the Gamecocks now, this is not about running out the clock or running up the score. This is about trying to win this game against 1AA Wofford. A lot of people scoreboard watching right now saying, is that true? Is that right? 27-20? It is. Here's the kick. All the way back into the end zone. Thomas has no chance to return that one. And Josh, you're a kicker. That's some of the adrenaline kicking in right there.
That's right. That's right.
Well, the news this week has been primarily about that man, Blake Mitchell, who was involved in an off-the-field incident, let's just say. Blake Mitchell suspended for this ball game, is not going to enter the game under any circumstances. Steve Spurrier allowing him to dress, but Blake Mitchell was the starter in the first 2 games. The offense struggled. Coach Spurrier saying in the week that he was going to probably start somebody else anyway, wanted to find a spark on offense. Well, the offense at times has been productive. At other times, it's been a little bit lagging, to be truthful about it. Mike Davis dots the I, gets the carry, starts off left, and then goes up the middle, and another short game.
You know, Mike, you look at what happened this past week and all the attention that Blake got. I mean, not making the right decision, that's nobody's call, because, you know, we weren't there. We don't know exactly what happened.
Right.
And the good thing is that he got out of it and the charges were dropped. But I think now that we see the game and see how the offense is producing, it's one of those things is, did that distract Carolina's team?
Yep. Newton going to take it himself, and he's got nothing there. Wofford reading that play all the way. Brandon Berry chucks him out of bounds. It's going to be 3rd down and long. I'm telling you what, I mean, this game is far from over. 3:33 left on the clock. If Carolina doesn't convert here, Wofford gets the ball back with a chance to tie it. 3rd down and 6 yards to go. And Cade Thompson has entered the game for Carolina. Cade Thompson, for the first time this year, we're seeing Cade rifles and just tipped at the last second by Brandon Berry. Boy, he had Davis streaking down the near sideline. But Thompson, the 6'2", 183-pound redshirt freshman, getting his first action in a Gamecock uniform, and looks like it doesn't matter anyway.
Carolina's just shooting themselves in the foot right here. But, you know, surprising to see Coach Spurrier put Kate Thompson in on 3rd down.
Penalties decline, brings up 4th down.
Second illegal shift of the night for the Gamecocks. Yeah, I think most of us thought it would be Chris Smelly here.
Right. And, you know, once again, just he's looking for a spark.
So Coach Spurrier, one curveball after another in this game. Gamecocks need to get off a good punt here. Wofford, return man, parked at the 35. Suck up. Gets some leg into it. It's caught right at the 35. Looking to take it outside the 40. And out of bounds at the 39. That's Brandon Berry on the return, the senior out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Colby Harris with a block. A lot of the fans there wanted an illegal block, but not going to get the call. Well, here's the situation, folks. Wofford has the football, down 7, 1 timeout left, and as you see, 3:18 left on the clock. And this guy, Mike Ayers, we told you about him earlier. There's not many coaches better than Mike Ayers in 1AA, National Coach of the Year in 03, 5-time Southern Conference Coach of the Year. And Wofford has come out here on a mission, and they've got a chance for a historical victory if they can get a touchdown on this drive. There's another pitch play to the right side. There's the cutback. Gets a block upfield. Dives near the 1st down marker. That is Dane Romero for the Terriers. Wofford's doing all this without their top back, Kevius Johnson, who's out with an injury tonight.
And Wofford's just got momentum here, and they're just running with it. Look here, there's 2 Carolina defenders in pursuit. They over pursue, take each other out, and he gets a nice gain for Wofford here, picks up the 1st down.
Yeah, you saw Dakota Walker over pursuing, trying to reach back and get an arm tackle. Not successful. Ball at midfield. Wofford has not defeated an SEC opponent since 1950 when they beat the Auburn Tigers 19-14. Penalty flag on this run. It'll be a gain of 7, but likely to come back. I think a lot of people, Josh, thought this game would be over by about now. Maybe Carolina be playing the backups, running up the score. Not the case.
I mean, look, that's an indication by the fan support. I mean, you look and see, and a lot of people have left, thought that Carolina was going to run away with it. It's just right now, Coach Spurrier's trying to just get out of this.
On the offense, number 66 and number 61. 15-yard penalty for previous spot. Repeat 1st down.
Got a shot at the chop block here, Josh.
Yeah, there's Chris Hampton still avoiding it and coming up with the tackle. Should that have been a penalty?
Didn't look like much on that angle. Maybe it was somewhere else, but didn't see a whole lot there. That's a huge penalty. That backs him up all the way to the 35. 1st down and 25. And if you're Wofford, not much of a passing team, that's a lot of yardage to make up here. Collier is looking to throw. Collier going deep over the middle. Collier just misses his man. 81, Colby Harris laid out for it. Fred Bennett was on the coverage. But I tell you what, that was awfully close.
It sure was. What they did there was they max protected Mike up front, sent only 2 receivers downfield and tried to draw the safeties up. Right here they got max protections. You got plenty of time. You got the crossing route in front trying to draw the safety up, but Fred Bennett does a good job of being there.
Fred Bennett, 9 career interceptions. He had 1 against Mississippi State, 1 against Georgia. He's 5 off the school record. 2nd down, 25. Gamecocks with a 5-man front. Here's the give up the middle, a whole lot of daylight. The 50, the 40, the 30, down at the 26-yard line. Adrian Young with a huge run. This is unbelievable, 39 yards. And Carolina, this is the 2nd straight game, just not stopping the run at all.
I mean, what do you say, Mike? This is just a simple play up the middle to the fullback, and he's just got daylight as soon as he hits the line of scrimmage. I mean, just the Wofford offensive line getting it done. They're just getting it done.
Nothing there on 1st down and 10. It'll be a loss as Collier hit behind the line. Nathan Pepper and Eric Norwood there to defend that play. The Wofford Terriers are putting on a display here tonight. Clock ticking down, under 2 minutes to go. Again, Wofford does have one timeout remaining. Collier going to operate under center. Collier running right, looking to pitch it. He does at the last second, and out of bounds just inside the 20. And there is Kevius Johnson. He's back. He's been out of this game with an injury for a while, but their top tailback back in the ball game.
You got to give a lot of credit to the quarterback here, Collier. He's drawing the defender in the last second, pitching the ball. And that just provides more of an opportunity for his running back to get the extra yards.
3rd down and 3. Tonight, Wofford on 3rd down, 8 of 17. What does that man have called here? He's been calling a gem thus far. You see the timeout situation. Here's a give up the middle. The up back is over the 15, and Michael Hobbs has a 1st down.
I mean, again, it's a Wofford offensive line getting it done up front. Just simple fullback draw, simple fullback dive up the middle, and they're getting 5 yards a pop off of this.
It's incredible. It's just incredible the way this offensive line, this is not a big line, folks. Nobody on the Wofford line is more than 290. Nobody. 57 carries for 290 yards now for the Terriers. Collier running right. Again, a late pitch and knocked out of bounds at about the 12 is Kevius Johnson. Dakota Walker strung him out. Johnson over 130 yards now in this ball game.
2 things Wofford has in mind right now. 1, no foolish penalties, no fumbles. You got to be able to secure the football down here in the red zone and get points. 2, if they score, do they go for 2 and for the win?
That's a very good question. And I'll tell you what, Mike Ayers, he's done everything else right. He's on the road, a chance for history. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for it.
I wouldn't be either.
Would not be surprised
at all. He's got momentum on his side.
Absolutely. First things first, though, he's got to get it there. 2nd and 9. And not much doing there up the middle. That's Michael Hobbs, stopped in his tracks by the freshman out of Richland Northeast High School in Columbia, Rodney Paulk. They love Paulk. He plays with high energy. Paulk getting a start tonight, and they think he's going to be a real good one at the linebacking spot. Clock still ticking, under 50 seconds left. Steve Spurrier sweating bullets right now on that Gamecock sideline. 3rd down and 7. Hobbs and Romero, the backs. Collier going to try to cut it back, nothing doing. Drugged down at the 10 by Eric Norwood. And a timeout called by Wofford. Last time out of the game for Mike Ayers and company.
What do you do here, Mike?
I would think you'd have to throw. And that's not Wofford's strength, but they've hit a couple of big pass plays tonight.
I tell you one thing that the option offers that teams get sucked into very well when teams like Wofford have been running the option all night, and that is the option pass.
Right.
When they run down the line of scrimmage,
right,
that like the option, and the quarterback takes a couple steps back and hits somebody wide open.
Who could throw it? Who could throw it? Johnson's done everything else for this team so far tonight. He's been banged up, but he's run for just shy of $130 and a touchdown. The Wofford Terriers have run the football 60 times for 294 yards, and the Wofford fans, they are certainly glad they made the short voyage from Spartanburg. Of course, you've got Wofford alumni all over the place, and I'll tell you what, great university, great fans, and they are looking at the possibility of history. And a lot of the Gamecock fans apparently have left the building.
That's right. You just saw a picture of Coy Boyd in the defensive huddle trying to give that motion and motivation to the defense.
Right. Now the Gamecock 11 back out there on defense. Mike Ayers looking on.
This is a big play here, Mike.
Tyrone Nix, defensive coordinator. It's nail-biting time. 29 seconds left to go. 3 men on the backfield for the Terriers. Collier going right. Pitch is deflected and caught in the air by Cody Wells. Wells has got some room midfield. He's finally brought down at the 42. What a play. Cody Wells, who has played well all night long. Dakota Walker also with a big play. 42 yards on the return, and that should cinch it for the Gamecocks.
Here we go with the quarterback right there, Dakota Walker coming through. This is the 3rd time he's faced him on the end. First time he faked him out with a pitch. Second time he faked him out going over top of his head, and he sniffed him out this time. Cody Wells just being in the right place at the right time.
Just batted it away with his left hand, did Walker. And Cody Wells, like you say, at the right place, darn near took it the distance, and that's going to do it. Well, it wasn't exactly what the Gamecocks had hoped for, but Carolina gets another victory in a game that went down to the wire, 27-20. Steve Spurrier's group improving to 2-1. The Terriers will fall to 1-2, but nothing to be ashamed of for Mike Ayers and company. A valiant effort tonight for the Wofford program. Final score, South Carolina Gamecocks 27, Wofford Terriers 20, here on CSS.